Glad you're here to watch the help video for quiz 5.06. Alright, so given angle 7 is congruent to angle 9, which lines, if any, must be parallel based on the given information, and justify your conclusion. So I'm going to find angle 7 and angle 9. Okay, and I want to highlight the lines that possibly could be parallel. In other words, I want to get rid of the distractors because I don't like distractors. And notice that both of those angles are up here. They're not dealing down here at all. So I'm just going to throw that out. That's a distractor to me. It bugs me. And so I'm looking at line A and line B, and I'm trying to figure out if they're parallel and why. Well, angles 7 and 9, those are on the opposite side of the transversal, and they're inside the parallel lines. So those are alternate interior angles. And if your alternate interior angles are congruent, then you know your lines are parallel. So I already threw out D as a distractor, so I'm going to get rid of D. And then I know lines A and B are parallel. And the reason is because of alternate interior angles, not alternate exterior angles. So that would be my answer. All right, let's look at this one. Given angle 4 and angle 14, let me go ahead and find angles 4 is congruent to angle 14. So this whole thing up here is just a distractor to me. I'm going to get rid of it. It confuses me. I don't like looking at it. And I'm going to try to determine if these two lines are parallel, and how do I know? So 4 and 14 are on the inside, and they're on the opposite side of the transversal. So again, those are alternate interior angles. And if your alternate interior angles are congruent, then you know your lines are parallel. So let's go and pick out our answer. We know that it's A is parallel to B, so all of those are still options. This one says same side interior, and they're not on the same side. They're on opposite sides, so that one's gone. This one says alternate interior, which is exactly what we have, so that's our answer. And this one says corresponding, and just as a reminder, corresponding is same side skip an angle. So the corresponding angle to 14 would have been angle 2, and the corresponding angle to 4 would have been angle 16, so it's not corresponding either. All right, let's try the next one. On this one, we're given angle 11 is congruent to 13. So 11 and 13. So notice I don't use line B at all. That's just a distractor. I'm going to get rid of it so it doesn't confuse me. And then I'm going to highlight the lines that I'm trying to figure out whether or not they're parallel. And then I'm going to find the relationship between 11 and 13. Now both of those are outside the parallel lines, and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So those should be alternate exterior angles. And if alternate exterior angles are congruent, then you know the lines are parallel. So we know that we're dealing with lines C and D. So anything that says anything else, I'm going to get rid of. This one says they're parallel because of alternate exterior angles. That's our answer. But let's just look at this one as well. This one says they're parallel because same side interior. Well, they're not on the same side of the transversal, and they're not even on the interior of the line. So that's not going to make any sense. So our answer is A. Okay, which segments are parallel? So for this one, let's just start at the very top and work our way down. So I'm going to start with line AB. And I'm going to try to check to see if EF is parallel to AB. And the two angles that I'm given between those two parallel lines would be these two. These are same side interior angles, and same side interior angles have to be supplementary. So they have to add to 180. So I'm going to double check that. If they add up to 180, then I know those two lines are parallel. If they don't add to 180, then I know that they're not parallel. But those two do add to 180, so I know that AB is parallel to EF. So I'm going to go ahead and mark AB and EF. We know those are parallel. And now I'm going to come down here. Let's see what's next. Let's go ahead and go in the order here. Next it asks about CD. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to highlight CD. And I'm going to see if that is parallel to either one of those. So I'm just going to use this angle, which is 42. Oops, I thought I had a pen. I didn't. This angle is 42, and this angle is also 42. And those are on the opposite side of the transversal inside these two lines, lines AB and CD. So those are alternate interior angles. So that tells me that CD is also parallel to AB and EF because those alternate interior angles. All right, and then I'm going to check GH. And the way I'm going to do this, there's lots of different ways we could check it, but I'm going to just go ahead and see if GH is parallel to CD. Because I know CD is parallel to all the rest of them, I can just pick which line I want to check. That looks like the easiest to me, so I'm going to check those two. In order for these to be parallel, notice the two angles between these. These are same side interior, so these would have to be supplementary. They would have to add to 180. So let's check that. If we do 122 plus 42, those add up to 164, not 180. So if I add those together, I get 164, which means they're not supplementary. And so those lines cannot be parallel because in parallel lines, the same side interior angles have to be supplementary. So that is why that one is not parallel. Okay, this is the last one. It says, for what value of x is line A parallel to line B? So let me go ahead and highlight the lines I'm checking. I'm a major highlighter. I love color coding. All right, and I'm trying to solve for x. So I know I need to use this angle because it has the x in it. And then I'm going to look and say, I need to find an angle relationship. If I use this angle and this one, those are same side skip an angle. Those are corresponding angles, and I know corresponding angles are congruent. If I tried to use this one and this one, those are on the same side, but they're outside the parallel lines, and we don't have any angle relationship for that. So I'm definitely going to use the 116 instead of the 64. Now there is a way to use the 64, but it's not one of our typical angle relationships, so I'm not going to show you that. All right, so I'm going to say because those are corresponding angles, they have to be congruent. So 4x plus 28 has to equal 116, again, because those are corresponding. And then I can solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 28 from each side because those would cancel. And then 116 minus 28 would give me 88. So I bring that 4x straight down. And then I still need to get the x by itself. Right now I have 4 times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I would divide each side by 4 so that that would cancel. And 88 divided by 4 is 22. Let's go back and make sure we answered the question correctly. It says, for what value of x are they parallel? So it is looking for x, so x would equal 22. All right, good luck on your quiz.